Anyway, but yeah, let's get to the World Economic Forum, baby. Let's see what the annual Davos World Economic Forum meeting in 2023 is cooking up. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, surrounded by the super rich, Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin agreed that they won't end the filibuster. Then they high five. Both have used their position to hurt the working people and the planet and make their rich friends richer.
The American people in the last 2 years.
And we still don't agree on getting rid of the filibuster.
That's correct.
Thank you. I was
like the anger, frustration, and hatred that people have towards the World Economic Forum is so valid. I love it. I hate these fucking Davos meetings and shit. But it's just like, but understand that it's larger than that, okay? The problem is like you are upholding the same exact fucking system. Like the notion that these are like conspiracy theories is a silly one because like it is a manifestation of the same things that you see in every aspect of your lives, okay? It's not like Jewish people or some shit though. It's just the mega wealthy. It is the wealthy. It is the powerful. It is the capital owners working at the behest of extending the capitalist organization of the economy globally over and over again every fucking year. When some of the world's wealthiest and most influential figures gathered at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting last year, sessions on climate change drew high-level discussions on topics such as carbon financing and sustainable food systems. I hate that like they only hyper focus on like the side of the World Economic Forum and the conversations that they have that surround like marketing for the liberals, okay? Because like whenever they talk about like carbon credits and stuff or climate change, they're not talking about it because they're going to genuinely undermine the interests of capital at the global scale. They're never going to do that. They're just doing that for marketing, okay? They're doing that for marketing so that liberals also think that, like, oh, the World Economic Forum, like, they got some good ideas, I think. It's hard to tell people that so many dumbass conspiracists out there see the WEF and tweak out, but straight up shill for Wall Street and the economy on the regular because they're so out of touch. They can't see the smoke in the mirrors. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand how you can be mad. I don't understand how you can be mad at the World Economic Forum and not realize that, like, these are the exact same systems that you're holding on to when you're watching, like, fucking Sigma Grindset videos. Like, those guys, every single one of these people is you know, they're pushing the same shit. They're all together on it. Bro, my mom / her husband watched Newsmax and I corrected him saying the phrase, what? Jewing someone down negotiating prices is fucked, and this motherfucker say it's an honor in their culture to be good at making deals. Jesus Christ, dude. That's insane. Like, no, they like it. No, they like it when we say that. When we associate an entire ethnicity of people, an entire religion of people with, like, being frugal. They like that. Newsmax, baby. It's a compliment.
Is facing questions about his handling.
Oh, fuck. We were doing World Economic Forum shit. Hold on.
In Davos today. Now, this year's theme is cooperation in a fragmented world. World leaders and executives are meeting in Switzerland for the 5-day conference. They're expected to discuss a number of global issues, including green energy, cybersecurity, and recession fears. So joining me now from Davos to discuss is Simon Kennedy. He's the executive editor for economics at Bloomberg News. Thanks for joining us. So this is the first time the event is being held in person in the winter time in the last 3 years. It has been held in the summertime, but it's also, you know, it's an interesting time for the uber rich. Oxfam just came out with a study suggesting that concluding that they did really, really well over the last couple of years when the world was sort of buckling under a pandemic. What will they be, or first question actually, have you noticed anything different about Davos this year?
So the last time they met in the winter was 2020, on the brink of that global pandemic. And since then, obviously, events have changed the world, and I think that has repercussions for the forum's agenda. There are fewer political figures this year. The German Chancellor is here. But of the major political figures, he's kind of alone, along with the Vice Premier of China.
One of the funniest parts about these conversations is that they openly talk about how things are heating up to a degree where, like, you know, the poor people everywhere, all around the world, are going to probably come up and rise up eventually. So we got to do something about it. And they very openly talk about it too. Like, it's not even hidden. They openly talk about that shit. And all these dummies who are so hype on, like, Elon Musk and all these other fucking dumbass bourgeois pieces of shit, okay, that dick ride them all the goddamn time, can't differentiate between like the concept of, like, hating individuals like Klaus Schwab or whatever the fuck, and the entire system that they are genuinely and very openly talking about at events like this. The richest 1% of people amass almost 2/3 of new wealth created in the last 2 years, according to Oxfam. Who the fuck do you think they're talking about at Davos? Who's going to Davos? It's all the rich people, dumbasses. It's not like individual bad rich people versus, like, some good people. Some good rich people. It's all of them. And it's not even, like, rich people in general. It's capital owners, okay? The World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos begins tomorrow. A jamboree of politicians, corporate leaders, and billionaires arriving by private jet and motorcade to tell us plebs how to save the planet while they design ways to asset strip the planet. What's a capital owner versus a rich person? A capital owner is one who doesn't have to, like, actually fucking work. Okay? They are the people who sit around and don't have to do anything. Their money is working for them. They don't have a skill, they don't have a discernible skill, they just have money. And their money is accumulating more money. They buy assets. They're not making their income through wage labor by working for someone else. These are the real parasites, the real mega wealthy on the planet. Yeah, LeBron versus the owner of the Lakers, even though, controversial figure, probably not the best person to mention here. And also, LeBron owns capital himself. But as a basketball player, LeBron James is a wage laborer, ultimately, okay? He's contracted. His skills are what make the team that he's playing generate money. But they take risk. Yeah, dude, you take risk too, dummy. Everyone takes risks. When you go and work for a place, you are taking risk. Two sides to that conversation. The greatest risk that a business owner has is losing their money and becoming a worker like you. Never forget that. Because when you lose your business or when you lose all the money, okay, you don't go to prison. They don't kill you. You just become a worker. That's the biggest fear that a capital owner has, is being relegated to the working class, going back to becoming a worker. That is the biggest risk that they're taking. So you as a worker literally look at that situation and go, oh, my lord, but they're taking risks, my lord. And now you might say JK, but plenty of people do genuinely think that. Okay, they do. They say, my lord is taking a risk, though. He deserves the profits of my labor. I myself am not taking a risk. Well, no, you are. Because when that business goes under, you lose your job too. And your starting position as a worker at that business is already literally the end point that those capital owners, your bosses, are afraid of becoming. That is their biggest fear. Their biggest fear isn't going to prison. Their biggest fear isn't like, their biggest fear isn't death or anything like that. It's losing all their assets so that they have to be relegated to the working class once again. So never forget that. But their risk is greater, isn't it? They invest the money. Bro, you are not listening to what I am saying. Okay? Them investing the money is a risk that they're taking. And what is the end point of that? What is the end? Like, what happens when you take that risk and you fail? Even though the entire system is designed to help those who already have capital, when they fail, to have bankruptcy and all these other ways of like maintaining their personal wealth. Think, when a business owner loses their business, they don't lose their life. They don't lose anything. They just become a worker. That is the biggest fear they have. The biggest fear that a wealthy business owner has is one day becoming a worker again. Because they know how other business owners treat their fucking workers. As a business owner, they know how they treat their workers. And they never want to go back to that ever again. My lord, the other serfs stole your grain, my lord. They are the bozo. Not me, my lord. I am a good peasant. Anyway, so remember that. And they very openly talk about it too, because they don't care, because a lot of dummies will look to the World Economic Forum and like not realize that this is just yet another iteration of class solidarity. It's yet another open demonstration of class solidarity amongst the capital-owning class as they talk about what to do with your future. Because they know you're going to hyper-focus on the fucking, climate change initiatives that they're advocating for. You feel me? They know you're going to focus on all the dumb shit and not the actual shit.
So no group of seven leader, no Joe Biden. So perhaps a sense that for politicians, they might want to steer clear of Davos. The other big absence will be no surprise. Russians and oligarchs and Russian leaders and officials once were big names on the list, and obviously Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the subsequent sanctioning of individuals has reduced the Russians to almost zero. So again, that would be a change from 3 years ago. So a little bit more skepticism, I would say, of the event, certainly from the political figures. At the same time, Wall Street and the big banking CEOs are all here. There's a lot of billionaires on the ground or on the guest list. So some sense that some things haven't changed.
Just last week, the World Bank warned of a possible global recession. I imagine that will be one of the topics that they'll be talking about. Give us a list of what's on the menu. What else will they be talking about?
So absolutely, the economic outlook is always a big issue here. The World Economic Forum revealing today that its own.
Sorry, I'm just confused. Hypothetically, so a business owner spends $1 million to start a business. They hire one worker, and the business instantly fails. The business owner out the money, I think, is more than what the worker is out. Okay, I understand your immediate desperation to try to find like one hypothetical scenario that you imagined up in your mind where it seems like you're right. Okay, it seems like you're right. When I talk about these sorts of things, first of all, when that guy loses $1 million, okay, it sucks. It sucks. But like, what happened to him? He's down $1 million. He hired one guy. Okay. First of all, in almost no circumstance, because we do live in a capitalist system, you're fronting $1 million fucking dollars to start a business. Okay. But holy shit, that would be a really funny and cool way for businesses to operate. Can you imagine you had to literally front it? There's no banks, there's nothing. You just have to genuinely put an out-of-pocket payment. Only stupid idiots like me do shit like that, okay? That's not how this works. But also, let's say he lost $1 million on his business. So what happened? Now he's a worker. Now he is down $1 million, and now he's a worker again. That's the worst thing that can happen to that business owner after he loses $1 million is he has to get back to fucking work and be a worker again. He's no longer a business owner. The business owner loses $1 million and is now at zero and has to find work. The one worker he hired is now out of a job and has no income, also has to find the work. Hence, they are now on equal footing. Yeah. The bank is taking the risk, not the person, and the bank is using your money, fractional reserve, baby. Yeah. And also, that $1 million is still in assets, which he's going to fucking sell and still have a shitload of money to go on another failed venture. No, but that's not how this works. You don't have $1 million and you go, I'm putting $1 million into this business, and then it lights on fire and you lose everything. That's not how that works. And you get a fucking massive tax benefit from that too, because you have an insane amount of taxes that you're never going to pay. Meanwhile, the worker is fucked. That's it.
Survey of chief economists tilts towards a recession forecast for this year. What happens with inflation? If you're a company CEO, you're going to be worrying both about recession, also pricing power, given inflation's so strong. There's a backdrop of geopolitical issues, obviously Ukraine, complications over energy prices, arguments over trade and supply chains, and whether to rely on previous countries to like China to locate your plants in. So there's all these big issues that are kind of circling, and many of them are short-term issues, medium-term issues, and then the long-term issue, which has really become a Davos item in recent years, has been the threat of climate change and what that might mean for the world economy and for everyone here.
Yeah, I sort of chuckled in a mildly sort of sarcastic way because I saw kind of the huge banner that they had put up across one of the streets that said a warm welcome to Davos. And I thought to myself, I hope that means that they're going to be talking about climate change, because that's really important when it comes to the economy and other things. As you mentioned, a number of world leaders are not going to be there. President Biden is not going to be there, but it doesn't mean the U.S. isn't going to be represented at Davos. Who will be there representing the U.S. and what will their role be?
So continuing the climate change discussion, John Kerry, the president's climate envoy, will be there. Catherine Tai, the U.S. Trade Representative, will be there.
And fucking Marty Walsh, our Labor Secretary. Fucking Maddie. He's going to go up there and be like, these fucking losers. They don't want to fucking work, dude. We're trying over here. We're doing our fucking best, dude.
Marty Walsh, the Labor Secretary, will be there. And a selection of
Big L. Imagine putting a fucking Massachusetts guy in that position, dude. What a fucking L for the Biden administration. I mean, no wonder they're just dismantling labor rights right now.
Senators will also be present. So there will be some American voices shaping the discussions.
All right. Well, it sounds fascinating. Let's hope something interesting comes out of it. Simon Kennedy, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
But we begin.
Anyway, this isn't a conspiracy play that's playing out in the extreme fringes, Alex Friedfeld said. A researcher with the Anti-Defamation League who studies anti-government extremism. We're seeing it on the mainstream social media platforms being shared by regular Americans. We're seeing it being spread by mainstream figures right on their primetime news on their nightly networks. This is pretty funny because, like, there is truth to a lot of what they are talking about, what a lot of these people are like, the energy is right. Being angry at rich people is perfectly valid. Okay? Being angry at these people who are like talking about what the next step should be for all the plebs and the peasants, as they are as the wealthy are fearful that they're grabbing their fucking pitchforks, you know what I mean? But the issue is, there is all the fucking dumbasses are talking about it from the perspective of, like, you know, dumb shit, like, oh man, they're gonna do climate change initiatives and they're gonna stop me from eating burgers. Okay. Meanwhile, like, they're not doing anything that's gonna hurt the bottom line of the agriculture business. Okay, just don't. They're not coming for your fucking. Okay, guys, that was a joke. Can you please? The Massachusetts thing was a joke. Can you shut the fuck up? Sam Cedars from Massachusetts and a huge labor rights advocate. Shut up. I'm joking.